There is no one response to the topic of whether or not people should get married and live in monogamous relationships because some people, in my opinion, are just meant to stay single. Because of this, there is no one answer to the question of whether or not people should get married. Others, on the other hand, derive a great deal of benefit from monogamy and committed partnerships. Hence, the religion of monogamy ought to refrain from imposing its beliefs on people who don't hold the same worldview as it does. If I were to become single, do you think it would make me happier, and should I become single? And move out of their path and make room for them to continue living. The cult of monogamy blames men for preferring to live their lives on their own terms and having the opportunity to do anything they want, whenever they want it, if they can't consider themselves to be free or, in this circumstance, if males bring benefits to women. It sickens me that people force marriage and relationships on each other despite the fact that they almost always end in tragedy. However, I get that people have been sold marriage relationships for generations, and if you choose to go against the grain, the system will attack you and try to force you to conform, just like in the Matrix. Planting yourself as an offering so they'll have a reason to disagree with you. It sickens me that people force marriage and relationships on each other despite the fact that they almost always end. If you make the decision to be alone throughout your life, you should always assume that the vast majority of people will not support this choice, and as a result, you should always be prepared for disappointment. You are inviting criticism onto yourself if you continue to be unrepentant about living your life in the manner in which you choose to at this point in time. There is nothing that anyone who has ever been married or in a relationship has ever said to me that has in any way prepared me for either of those things. I don't give a rat's behind what other people think about me because I know that when I'm in the belly of the beast or the bottomless pit of the kingdom receiving a divorce grade, I won't give a rat's behind what other people say about me. No one is going to come to my aid or stand by my side as my possessions are taken by force, and I am certain that you will all agree with my assessment. You will need to have the same mentality if you are serious about not getting married in the future. Don't give anyone the satisfaction of throwing you off your game by letting them knock you off track. They are able to take pride in it and improve how they feel about themselves because it ultimately belongs to you. Okay, gentlemen, but they can't have that one life. It's not fair. In the year 2022, the following are the reasons why dating a modern woman would make you happier than being alone would have been for you. The freedom from being used as a plow horse by a thoughtless family is the primary reason that men who live alone report higher levels of happiness. I want you men to look at your families, specifically your wives and children. Your children and husband, who you have supported financially, will not value the work you have made. Your efforts to keep them safe won't be appreciated by them, and they won't go out of their way to do anything extra to compensate you for your kindness. When you have a family, you can very much guarantee that everyone will adore you no matter what. For the sake of the people, you and many other men who choose to be single and without families quickly realize that not having to deal with their families and society's expectations of their capacity to work their fingers to the bone relieves a significant amount of pressure. This is something that you and many other men who choose to be single and without families quickly realize. Once men realize that all the money they make goes straight into their pockets and they can do whatever the hell they want, it's as if a switch flips in their heads, and then they realize that they can live life on their terms and be content with themselves. They have others to consider and worry about providing for who won't show even a shred of gratitude. Only a small percentage of men ever have children or get involved in committed partnerships. Now, there is happiness and a sense of relief for them. The obligation of continuing to work and provide for oneself until old age. They don't even get the gratitude from their own family that they should have for everything that they do because their family takes them for granted. Unfortunately, there are some men who opt for a different course of action and, as a result, never have to deal with the feelings of isolation and depression that come along with it. This is because the people who love them do not believe that this is what they should be doing, and those people could care less as long as the bills are paid and there is food on the table. Because of the precarious nature of the situation, there are some girls who think of their fathers as nothing more than a pocketbook. My name is, and I run a channel on YouTube under this name. In the comments and description of the pin, I will include a link to a channel that contains information about how to monetize your material. Therefore, I ask that you please give consideration to subscribing and demonstrating your support. If even a small percentage of you choose to subscribe, I would be able to cover my costs. Brothers, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your help. The other factor that contributes to men's contentment is the freedom that comes with being single, which allows them to devote more time and energy to pursuing their own interests. It pains me to be the one to tell you this, but tranquility and freedom will never coexist in the same place at the same time. There is no longer any validity to the old saying that when you have a lady, everything changes. The women of today simply are unable or unwilling to offer males with the benefits that have historically been associated with marriage. In their own company, women enjoy chit-chatting and stirring up trouble. The problem is that these people don't know when or how to keep their mouths shut, and it is their need to be seen and heard that makes them so unpleasant. You can never have peace and quiet with all of the yapping and nagging gone. Because males are unable to do whatever the heck they want once women get their legs up on them, and this is especially true once they tie the knot and raise a family, the concept of freedom plummeted to the ground like a rock. Put the idea of liberty out of your mind. You are going to have to put up consistent effort if you want to ensure that everyone in the house is content. If you want a wife more than you want to live, you have to be willing to sacrifice this aspect of your life. The saddest aspect is that the vast majority of males are completely unaware of their own desires for freedom, peace, and quiet. The fact that those guys were tied down by women stopped them from stepping forth, and the woman thwarted any possibility of that man gaining an appreciation for the benefits of his freedom and the worth of his time spent alone. In the midst of all of this mayhem, he takes pride in his independence. Many men dwell on how isolated they are despite the fact that they are always involved in romantic connections, yet they never make the conscious decision to separate themselves from their partnerships in order to determine whether or not being single is a feasible option for them. They will never understand the freedom that comes with walking into one's own home naked and hearing nothing but the sound of silence. Believe me, brothers, once you've discovered what true tranquility and independence are like, you'll find that you'll always find enjoyment in those things. To be clear, happiness is not an ideal or a goal that one should aim toward achieving in their life. The pursuit of happiness is a fruitless endeavor because all it ever results in is fleeting, momentary feelings and sentiments. Accepting the fact that the majority of your life will be mundane and unremarkable is the best course of action because the average state of happiness is the goal that everyone should strive to achieve. I believe that it is possible for anyone, regardless of their current financial situation, to improve the quality of their life simply by being decent and content, while at the same time always looking for more life than it is to chase happiness. Look at all the sheep who claim they want to be happy all the time and who actively seek it. They wreck their own lives and the lives of those around them, and they rarely achieve it. Life than it is to chase happiness. Look at all the sheep who claim they want to be happy all the time and who actively seek it. Be thankful for the gift of life and contentment rather than constantly seeking it. Women are a prime example of how constantly seeking happiness may have negative consequences for both the person always seeking happiness and those around her. You can achieve a state of contentment with your life by simply allowing yourself to feel joy when it occurs rather than actively seeking it out.